We bought this Peugeot 205 GTI rally car without using the internet.
The challenge was simple. No phone, no laptop, no online listings. We wanted to see what it's actually like to buy a car the old-fashioned way. And somehow, this is what we ended up with.
This isn't just any 205 GTI, it is fully rally prepped, and back in the 80s, it actually competed in proper races.
Unfortunately for us though, just minutes into our first drive, it dumped all of its oil everywhere and became completely undrivable.
Since then, we've sorted the oil leak, replaced the timing belt, and fixed a bunch of other problems.
Today, the main goal is to get this hot hatch looking immaculate. We've got a few things to fix, and then we've got some incredible mods to take this thing back to its former glory.
And the first fix that we need to do is also a modification as well, replacing the old exhaust. Our first issue to fix that happened right at the end of the last video. We went for a first startup after all the timing belt stuff, and the exhaust went. Having a look at it, we can now see why.
You can see why. There is a blow at the back of there. There's a blow at the back of here. There's another huge blob of weld around here. This is TDC welding to put this back box on.
I don't know if this is original, but it's meant to be an original spec system, so it doesn't sound that great. So obviously, we've gone for an upgrade.
Let me go get our present. Yes! This was recommended by the guys at RRR. Is a Maniflow exhaust. They said you can replace the manifold as well. If you just need the exhaust, I would recommend just getting this guy. This is not only a fix, it's also a mod, which is the way TDC likes to roll. That's quite cool.
That is lovely.
Pipe.
Pipe, that is just pipe.
That's pipe.com.
Pipe.
Do you know what we haven't had for a while? We've been missing out on.
What's that?
It's the People's Champion. He hasn't been here for a while.
We're possibly too high for chair.
Yeah, I know, but you know what, I am long. With the return of the best tool in our workshop, I engaged my height and we got to work removing the old seized exhaust. Oh, that's a tough one, right in the eye. Right in the old eye.
Wow.
It's fun.
He's really on there, folks. Christ!
Here we go, one time, be big. Give it one for me, son. Yeah. Oh, there you go, now he's going.
Shit! Can you just see what's going on here?
Just every little helps.
I think a clown's been here. It's just been really quite crushed down, possibly over-tightened. So to solve this issue, I continued with the only proper technique I knew. Ow, ow, ow. Aha! Who fitted this?
There you go, comparison between the old and new. I like the tip on the new one. He's more motorsport.
He's beautifully formed.
Your tip is immaculate.
After the pain of getting the old exhaust off, we fitted the new back box and were both very excited.
Oh, I like that tip a lot. That's motorsport.
That's a great tip.
That's a rally car right there, I like that.
That's a top tip.
We then fitted the midsection and moved on to working out how we would attach the new exhaust to the original downpipe. Now what's the game plan, Will? Just cutting or?
I think I might just cut.
I like it. I mean, the line's a little bit off.
But we can now have a look.
And then when you're done having a look, you just put them back down and you just connect the exhaust up and off you go.
Now we could see a little better, we realised that the old exhaust was sleeved, meaning that one section is pushed over the other.
So before we could connect the new system, we'd need to remove the remainder of the old sleeve, which was helpfully welded into place. Yeah, now that, I'd say that's a clean cut. So we do have a little bit on the inside. Oh, literally, oh no, that goes in quite deep.
It does go in quite. That's what
that goes all the way to here.
It comes to there. With the weld cut off, we needed to pull the sleeved section out of the rest of the exhaust. But as it was so tight in there, it required some more persuasion from my hammer and chisel.
A crown on which to king this ultimate shithousery, whoever did this before.
To prep the pipe for refitting, we needed to first bash it back into a circular shape, then clean up the inside. And with that done, we were almost there. We have to make relief cuts in the exhaust that we're sleeving into. When you're putting a pipe in here, the one that's going in can be perfectly round, that's normal. But when you're putting round over round and you start clamping it down, round will become oval and then you'll have exhaust leaks, which is why you'll see on an exhaust a relief cut like that, because then it squeezes down in it nicely. You won't have any leaks. And obviously, because we just cut this old exhaust pipe, we now need to make our own relief cuts. He's slightly wonky, that one.
But fine.
Relief's a relief. That's a relief.
That's a relief at the end of the day.
With those relief cuts made, we can now slide the new exhaust into the old downpipe.
That is almost an exhaust.
Then it was just a simple job of tightening everything down so there were no more leaks, and as we aren't complete idiots, we chose to use clamps rather than welding it all together.
The new exhaust looked fantastic, and with it now fully installed, it was time for the most important part. Okay, so before it sounded standard, really, and also the blow made it sound horrible. This won't be ridiculously loud,
No.
but I'm expecting a little bit different.
A little bit zingy.
Ooh. Oh yeah! I like that.
That's a rally car.
That's a little rally car.
That is cool.
That is spot on.
I like that.
And no blow.
No, I like that a lot.
That's perfect. That is absolutely spot on. Cool.
First modification done. On to the next ones, which are even better. Now, a quick one before we carry on working on this car. Have you ever Googled yourself and found your name, your address, or even information about your relatives on sketchy websites? Now, that isn't just creepy. That is where scammers, telemarketers, and ID fraudsters will get your information from.
Those are called data brokers. They scrape and sell your data all over the internet. And you can't just email them one by one to delete it. It is a full-time job.
That's why we use Incogni. It automatically finds and removes your data from hundreds of broker sites. Once you've given them your permission, they contact those sites legally and get all of your information removed. And then they keep following it up to make sure none of that data comes back. So here's an example. Incogni has found 47 instances of my data online. They've already got 14 of them removed and 33 are still outstanding. And that has saved over 10.5 hours of my time.
And with the unlimited plan, you can also get custom removals. That means if you find your details on a site, you just paste the link into your dashboard and Incogni's privacy team will work on getting that taken down.
Now, it's not just all talk either. Deloitte has independently verified that Incogni does remove this data. Plus, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it risk-free.
If they can't find you, they can't target you. So take 5 minutes and get your details off the grid.
Hit the link at the top of the description here, or go to incogni.com/TopDeadCenter and use code TopDeadCenter for 60% off an annual plan.
That's incogni.com/TopDeadCenter. So make sure you go ahead and protect your privacy. And now let's get back to the 205.
Right, next thing, if you're a connoisseur of modifying English cars, or you've been modifying cars in England, you know what that name means. Ooh. A set of gas coilovers for the front, because the rear of it's a French car, is a torsion beam suspension. We're not even going to try our luck at doing that. But the front, we do know what we're doing. Also, when you order a set of gases from the UK, this is not sponsored, by the way, we paid for these, but they make them custom. You have to wait because they go, yeah, right, we'll send that to the factory.
And
Dave's going to get on it this afternoon.
in Britain, mate.
Matey.
We got to work installing the coilovers, and as soon as we removed the wheels, it was clear that the old struts had seen better days.
Fitting these are fairly simple. The struts sit directly in the hub, so after I'd cleaned any crust off, I could loosen the single bolt at the back, which pinches it into place, then remove the brake line mount, and then move on to the top, where after loosening 3 bolts, the strut would simply lower out.
With that out, it was pretty clear how much of an upgrade these new coils were, and to get them fitted, it was a simple case of repeating the process, this time in reverse. But at the exact time Edwin finished his side, I informed him of a frustrating issue.
There we go.
Now, does your anti-roll bar, the hole on the actual strut, is it on the right side to connect?
That's tough.
That's annoying.
That's tough. Here is the anti-roll bar drop link. There should be a tab coming out this side of the coilover, but it's on that side, which means I have Will's coilover. Will has mine.
Is a rookie mistake. I'll be honest. I'm disappointed in that one.
Oh, I've struck for you, sir. Oh, that's lovely. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Always wanted to do this again. With the coilovers now installed, this time on the correct sides, the front was done. So we could move on to the rear, which was a little different than what you've seen us do on this channel before.
you'd be correct to assume this does not look the same as the front. That is because this car and lots of other French cars don't have a typical suspension setup at the back. They have a thing called a torsion bar. You have a normal shock or damper, you can see this one sitting here, but then you have this bar that runs along here, and essentially it kind of works like an anti-roll bar. It uses tension to set the height and act on that to spring. So there's no springs technically on the rear end of it at all. You can re-index them to sit the car lower, which we'll probably have to do, but I don't think we're going to have time to do it today, because if there's any rust or it seized at all, you have a very bad day. I think looking at here, Will, we'd have a bad day.
We don't have bad rust, bolts-wise, it's rough.
We're going to chuck in the shocks quickly, and then we're going to test fit the mod that we are most excited for, because this thing is going to look good.
The torsion bar did mean that we couldn't adjust the ride height ourselves, but the silver lining is that fitting the new rears was easy, despite the old ones being a little crusty and stubborn to come out.
Before long though, they were in, and we could now move on to our favourite mod, which happens to complement this new suspension perfectly.
Now, these are one of the wheels that came off the front or side or rear of the car, and we're going to put it in here. There's the old one, you can see the old one there. It's looking a little bit worse for wear, but we can put one of the nice ones in there, because where we're going, we don't need our original wheels. These are the original 205 GTI wheels. You get these on the later 1.9. The early ones have like the pepper pot looking wheels. Also, cool fact told to us by RRR, there's two types of wheels, they look the same. One says France, and that's made by SMR, I think is who it was. And then the other one is made by Speedline. So some of our wheels say Speedline, some of ours say SMR, but it's not gonna matter anymore, because we have bought
a set of our own speed lines. These are SL434 speed lines, brand spanking new as well.
new.
Not as expensive as you'd think. For a full set, about £800.
Yeah.
We got a spare because we want to put one in the boot. Proper rally car. And then Nankang NS2R tyres for some extra meats and
perfect
chonk.
meats. These were designed for the 205 Group A car, and they just carried on making them. You can just buy the wheel that was on the Group A 205s. That is cool.
We should need no spacer, no anything. We should just need straight vibes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
He was looking a bit weedy before. He had little skinny and these aren't that much bigger.
Is it a bit, right then,
He's like, right,
who's got a rally stage for me?
I mean business, mate. Well, give me a tarmac stage, pronto.
The wheels and tyres were looking amazing on the 205, so we brought it down to see how it would sit with the new suspension installed.
Oh my good God.
The front is
The
fantastic.
front is perfect. Look at the front of that. I had no idea this car even existed. Didn't even use the internet to find it, and now it exists like this.
Before anyone says anything, yes, it was a rally car, and I know it's very low now. We want a rally vibe.
Tarmac rally.
We can't go rally driving. We're not going to do that. It's tarmac car, a little bit lower. Road use.
Yeah.
That's what we're going for.
But there is something still inspired by its rally roots that we've done for the interior that is far more special than anything on the outside. Should we get to work on that? Because
Yeah, let's
it's
do
the
that.
thing I've been most excited for, maybe on this whole channel.
There is a thing from one of my favourite companies on earth that has been redone for this Peugeot. This is so... I'm off the charts excited about
You
this.
can't even get these.
No one can get these.
We spoke to Cobra about getting some seats made for our 205 GTI. Not sure if we've actually shown it on camera yet because we haven't driven it, but we don't really fit in the seats that are in the car.
Yes, when we first drove the car for the 4 seconds before the oil exploded everywhere, we were sitting on top of the seats. Now, this is not just any seat. There's something special to do with these seats. I've seen it! Yo! That is so cool.
I'm tearing. How cool is that?
Sorry! So I got in contact with Cobra and I said, look, we don't want anything free, but can we work with you on something special? And they said, absolutely. This is reproduction 205 GTI original fabric. It's not actually the correct fabric for our car, but it's the iconic one. It's the one everyone knows. So we got them to recover the center in 205 GTI fabric. And then they said, if you have a cool like PNG or anything, we can embroider something for you. So I knocked up that on Photoshop. It's the TDC GTI. I'm so happy with this.
These
Like,
are really, really good.
over the moon.
Red stitching as well. These in there are gonna look spot on.
So I have a set of these in my M3. I've got a set on order for my E36. They are the most comfortable track sort of seat that you can get. They are also low on the side here, which means you don't have to use harnesses. It has holes, and we've got some Schroth harnesses, which are equally as cool. So should you want to go on the track, stick them through the holes, but should you want to drive it on the road, you can use normal seats. This is
This is gonna be nice.
old seats must come out.
They've got to come
Something else we have in this car is a roll cage. We are going to keep the roll cage because we're going to put harnesses back in. It's quite important. You do not want harnesses without a roll cage because you'll be crushed and die a very, very painful death, especially in a tin can like this. But we're going to take out this sidebar because that's annoying.
We can't get in and out.
That really is
with it
annoying.
right now.
So we're going to take that out because it's bolt in. Sometimes they're weld in.
The other thing, and I know there's going to be lots of people commenting about it, is the angle of the harnesses. There is a thing called submarining. When you crash, if you have the wrong angle that your harnesses are at, you will slip under and be crushed by your own body. Now, going to the floor is not ideal. Remember, this car was built and raced in the 80s. Perhaps the tech wasn't as great back then. So we are going to amend that. We're going to get a bar put in across so that our angle is correct. But we don't have that for now. Probably won't be in this video, but rest assured, we will get that corrected.
Old harnesses removed, I got the side roll bar out of the way.
Look at all of the opening we've got. Now, I know there's going to be race car motorsport people out there going, that's so unsafe. It might be. If it is, let us know. We might put them back in. But for now, at least for access, we need it out.
Door bar number 2. Done. This is just recreational time for Will, by the way. This is what he just does.
While Will was busy playing with the passenger seat, I got to work removing the driver's side, which was bolted firmly into place.
One thing we are a little bit worried about with this is that this was a rally car, these are aftermarket seats, is the bases under here may not be standard. We've ordered subframes to fit our new seats to, but we need to see what's under here first. So we'll have a look. Of course!
Old seat out, we could inspect the mounting plate, which was interesting.
That's custom. Rally's the next day. Got to get it made in time. First hole not correct. Let's make another one. Measure nunts, cut twice. It's the TDC way. I like this.
We then attempted to remove the passenger seat, but there was quite a stubborn bolt.
All these other bolts, they just went into the chassis, so we could just undo them. One of them, in the hardest spot, has a captive nut on the bottom of the car. So Will is currently, he looks dead, but we think we've got it. You didn't make it in time. Will has perished.
Finally though, the bolt came free.
Is he off?
I think he just went, he's out.
But that wasn't enough, as the seat was still held in place.
This Recaro seat has been custom bolted on. Well, it turns out not bolted, it's been welded in, and they've welded in a captive nut at the top that goes through the chassis, which means there is a nut underneath that we can't get to. So Will is still there. Now, yes, there will be comments. You have a 2-post ramp right there, but we're proud and we don't want to do it. So
look, this is a French hot hatch. We need to do it the old-fashioned way.
With me working on the bolt and Will firmly holding the nut in place, we got the seat loose. But that led us to discover something quite funny.
So we're free on that side.
Oh, my nut's still there. I can't even remove that nut.
There's the other one. There's another one here.
Nah. Wait. Sorry, you did this nut over there, the one I didn't...
There's another one on this side.
I didn't need to hold the thing under the car.
I thought you did, but I don't think you did.
So I was just holding it for no reason.
Potentially.
Okay, all right.
Finally though, after all of my pain, the seat came out.
So we actually bought 2 different mounting sets to mount the seat in this 205 GTI. But because this car was previously a rally car, there's been lots of bolts and holes that were messed with that weren't there originally. So for now, what we've done is we've put back in the original bases that were there. We're going to just see if the new seat fits on it, and we can just basically move these sliders and mess with them to fit better.
So I test fitted the new seat with the original mounts to see what the driving position was like, and it wasn't quite perfect.
Right, going for a test. Ooh.
High up.
It's very high. So we need to come down probably to the lowest we can possibly.
So we're going to have to cut the mounts then. We're either going to have to swap mounts or cut mounts. Far away from wheel? Too far?
I'm too far away.
It's too far along for me. So we'll go forward and down.
But that would require some bodging, as the mounts were too tall and weren't allowing the seat to sit any lower.
So I suited up and cut down the mounts, which would allow us to mount the seat in a much lower position.
I've put the seat back in. We've cut down the mounts, so now we are sitting at the correct height. Also moved a bit forward because it was neither Will or I's seating position. It was perhaps the BFG's position. But for now, let's have a look.
Good. Now, your height looks good.
The height's perfect. And you know what?
space for a helmet. We don't actually have sliders, so this seat needs to be in a position that both Will and I can work with. So if you now have a look.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, you know what? I can certainly manage.
Perfect world, you'd be a little bit closer.
I'd be like an inch or two closer.
Okay, cool. In that case, I'll move it a little bit further forward, and then we're good. Look at that little guy in there.
And the seat.
Yeah, that too. Looks great.
I then went to town cleaning up this old rally car's interior, all the while thinking about how amazing it would be if all of you subscribed right now.
We're trying to hit 500,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button and never miss a future TDC upload. Right, Will had to leave early, but I have completed the seat install, and it's one of the most proud I've been of anything we've done at TDC car-wise. The one thing, I will admit, we should have maybe tried to find red Shroth harnesses, but they're Shroth harnesses. Shroth is a cool name to have in your car. And Will and I both fit. We both now fit in this. We've set it as a perfect middle ground, so we're both happy with that. I love this car. I really do love this car now. But there are things to do.
One of the things that has always bugged us about this car is this here. This has been painted. This should not be this colour. This should be a black plastic, basically. And also, when we were having the car transported to RRR, we didn't lose it. We just had to remove it. But it's not looking good. But that needs to go back on. And we lost the red trim, which we also bought. And then also at the front of the car, we have the grille to go back on. And then, of course, in front of the grille, the rally pod. He needs to go back on.
It is what makes this car this car. So, final bits of button up to do, and then we give this car a clean, and it's going to look like it hasn't looked, well, ever. I got to work on the front end while Will focused on the back, but things weren't so good back there.
Well, the most of that needs to be cleared off. I'm going to use this, which we used previously. This is good for getting adhesive off of paint and whatever else. I call it a trophy wheel. Some people say caramel wheel. Some people call it other names. But this is very good for not damaging paint, but it will pull off adhesive and crappy rubber stuff like this. So you put it on a drill and get at it. You need to be a little bit careful with it because it does cause a lot of friction and you will burn through paint on this if you're being ham-fisted. But I'm going to get some sticky stuff remover on it, let it soak, get as much off as I can, and then finish her off with this one.
Meanwhile, his face is back. To be complete, it's got to have this old girl on it, which is just the best part about this car. However, I see dirt. Time to clean. Will was embarking on the pretty tedious job at removing the residue of the rear adhesive.
Soak that up. Ah, God.
Right, that is happy. Well, as happy as 80s hardware goes. Oh yeah, look at that. I think this is one of the coolest cars we've ever done.
It is certainly up there,
Nice.
except for the back of it,
Not so fun.
which is not cool. I've moved to a different phase that I think I should have started with. That is heat. A lot of adhesive or silicone stuff like this, if you heat it, it goes soft, and then you can wipe it off, peel it off, rub it off, scrub it off, eat it off. It does get messy, which is not what I'm looking forward to.
While I was busy battling with the rear of the 205, Edwin was hard at work cleaning up the side, ready to reinstall the old trim.
All of this has just been siliconed or glued on because they didn't have the right trim clip. So I now have to do the very tedious task of removing all of the different bits of silicon. Will and I are now undoing all of the previous owner's heinous acts. This was a really tedious task and took forever, but eventually I was able to get the side trim reinstalled and looking great. With the 205 now looking so much better, the final thing to do was to give it the first proper clean it's probably had in decades. On the road.
Now, we got here before.
Yeah, we made it about this far before, but we have a 205 GTI running, driving, that had been sat for years, unloved. No one cared about this car. Now, it's one of the best looking 205 GTIs I've ever seen in my life.
This is incredibly cool.
Hello. Titans into 4 right, don't cut. Jogger on the right.
Morning.
To recap, after buying the car sight unseen, it through an oil line, which we repaired, did a cam belt, did a load of other maintenance items, and then we upgraded it with the incredible Cobra Nagaro seats, the new exhaust, the new wheels, the coilovers from Gaz. This thing is now a properly sorted little rally car, and this isn't the end.
So there we go, 205, now back on the road properly. We've driven it for more than 60 seconds and it hasn't blown up. So unbelievably pleased with this car. It sits so well, it now drives really well. It's a little bit rattly in here, but it's an old rally car, we don't care. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to watch a video where we bought this car, you can see that here. We'll see you next week.
Into the corner, hard left, 4 right, tightens into flat.